My friends, what are we doing today?
Pecos, Bill, and Slue Sue, an American tall tale.
Pecos Bill had one of the strangest childhoods a boy ever had.
It all started after his father decided that there was no longer enough room in East Texas for his family.
Pack up, Ma. Neighbor's moving in 50 miles away. It's getting too crowded. So they loaded up a wagon with all of their things.
Now some say they had 15 children, while others say 18.
However many there were, the children were louder than thunder.
And as they set off across the wild country of West Texas, their mother and father could hardly hear a thing.
Now, as they came to the Pecos River, the wagon hit a big rock. The force threw little Bill out of the wagon, and he landed on the sandy ground.
Mother did not know Bill was gone until she gathered the children for the midday meal.
Bill's ready. Come and get it. The kids came a running.
But something wasn't right.
Roll call, sound off. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Every one of the kids answered.
But not Bill.
Dad, burn it. Did that boy run off again?
Probably off chasing rabbits. And Pa had no idea how true that would become.
Mother set off with some of the children to look for Bill, but they couldn't find him. They could find no sign of him.
Well, some people say Bill was just a baby when his family lost him. Others say he was 4 years old.
But all agree that a group of animals called coyotes found Bill and raised him.
Bill did all the things those animals did, like chase lizards and howl at the moon. He became as good a coyote as any.
Now, Bill spent 17 years living like a coyote until one day a cowboy rode by on his horse. Some say the cowboy was one of Bill's brothers.
Whoever he was, he took one of the look at Bill and asked,
What are ya?
Bill was not used to human language. At first, he could not say anything.
The cowboy repeated his question. This time, Bill said, "Hermit."
Fill up the room with sound.
That is a word used for any kind of wild animal.
No, you aren't.
Good job.
Yes, I
Fill
am.
up.
I have fleas. Lots of people have fleas. You don't have a tail. Yes, I do.
Show it to me then.
Bill looked at his backside and realized that he did not have a tail like the other coyotes.
Well, what am I then? You're a cowboy, so start acting like one.
Well, that was all Bill needed to hear.
He said goodbye to his coyote friends and left to join the world of humans.
Now, Pecos Bill was a good cowboy. Still, he hungered for adventure.
One day he heard about a rough group of men. There was some debate over what the group was called.
But one storyteller calls it the Hades Gate Gang.
So Bill set out across the rough country to find his gang of men.
Well, Bill's horse soon was injured, and Bill had to carry it for 100 miles.
Then Bill met a rattlesnake 50 feet long. The snake made a hissing noise.
And it was not about to let Bill pass.
Fill up the room with sound.
But after a tense minute, Bill beat the snake until it surrendered.
You love it.
He felt sorry for the varmint, though it wrapped it around his arm.
After Bill walked another 100 miles, he came across an angry mountain lion.
Good job.
There was a huge battle.
But Bill took control of the big cat and put his saddle on it.
He rode that mountain lion all the way to the camp of the Hades Gate Gang. Now when Bill saw the gang, he shouted,
Well, who's the boss around here?
A huge cowboy, 9 feet tall, took one look at Bill and said in a shaky voice,
I was the boss, but you are the boss from here on in.
With his gang, Pecos Bill was able
biggest ranch in the Southwest. Bill and his men had so many cattle that they needed all of New Mexico to hold them.
Arizona was the pasture where the cattle ate grass.
Pecos invented the art of being a cowboy.
He invented the skill of throwing a special rope called a lasso over a cow's head to catch wandering cattle.
Some say he used a rattlesnake for a lasso. Others say he made a lasso so big that it circled the whole earth.
Sure, I can see your face.
Method of using a hot branding iron to permanently put the mark of a ranch on a cow's skin. That helps people from stealing cattle.
Some say he invented cowboy songs to help calm the cattle and make the cowboy's life easier.
But he is also said to have invented tarantulas and scorpions as jokes. Cowboys have trouble with those poisonous creatures ever since.
Now Pecos Bill could write anything that ever was.
So as some tell the story that there came a storm bigger than any other.
It all happened during the worst drought the West had ever seen.
It was so dry that horses and cows started to dry up and blow away in the wind.
So when Bill saw the windstorm, he got an idea.
The huge tornado kicked across the land like a wild bronco.
But Bill John it without a thought.
He rode that tornado across Texas, New Mexico, and Arizona. All that time squeezing the rain out of it to save the land from drought.
When the storm was over, Bill fell off the tornado. He landed in California.
He left the hole so deep that to this day it is known as Death Valley. Now Bill had a horse named Widowmaker.
He got that name because any man who rode that horse would be thrown off and killed, and his wife would become a widow. No one could ride that horse but Bill.
Keep your paper where I can see your face.
And Widowmaker in the end caused the biggest problem for Bill.
See, one day, Bill saw a woman.
Not just any woman, but a red-haired woman riding a giant catfish down the Rio Grande River.
What's the name of the scout that rides the sleeping cowfish so well?
Slue.
What a pretty name.
And Bill fell in love with her at first sight.
What a pretty
Good
day.
job.
Well, Bill would not rest until he asked for a hand in marriage.
On their wedding day, Pecos Bill dressed in his best buckskin suit, and Sue wore a beautiful white dress with huge steel spring buckle in the back.
Good job, guys.
It was the kind of big dress that many women wore in those days. The bigger, better.
Now, after the marriage ceremony, Sue got a really bad idea. She decided that she wanted to ride Widowmaker.
Bill begged her not to try, but she had her mind made up.
Well, the second she jumped on the horse's back, he began to kick him butt like nothing anyone had ever seen.
Good job.
He sent Sue flying so high that she sailed clear over the new moon.
The man on the moon saw her coming and shouted,
Howdy! So glad to see ya! It's been years since we've had visitors.
But Sue just flew on by.
Hurry back now, you hear?
She fell back to earth, but the steel spring buckle just bounced her back up as high as before.
Now there are many different stories about what happened next. One story says Bill saw that Slue was in trouble.
She would keep bouncing forever if nothing was done.
So he took his rope out, though some say it was a huge rattlesnake, and lassoed Sue to catch her and bring her down to earth.
Good job.
She just bounced him back up with her.
But he slowed her down just enough that this time Slue landed on the ground.
With Bill. for supper?
I'm hungry. I could eat a horse.
Well, I don't have horse meat, but I have alien stew and green cheese.
Wow, that's out of this world.
And that's where they stayed.
Some people say they raised a family up there.
Their children were as loud as Bill and Sue were in their younger days.
People say that the sound of thunder
That sometimes carries over the dry land
Around the Pecos River,
is nothing more than Pecos Bill's family
laughing up a storm.
Bravo, take a bow. 1, 2, 3. Wonderful. Thank you. Now I'm trying to stop this.